Yo, what up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. Let's see. Hope you checked out Anna's video that she uploaded. Super good. Anyway, today's gonna be the weirdest video ever. So buckle up for this one. But what I'm going to call the video today is how I predicted Tiger Woods would win a major in 2019. So, what did I just say? So, for those who don't know, Tiger Woods, which probably a lot of you do, is probably one of the most famous golfers ever, right? And he was at the top of his game. Nobody could beat him. And then in the year 2008, basically, he had a personal life issue, something about cheating on his wife. He was like, I don't know, went to court, all these legal issues, dropped out of the game. I don't even know if he was allowed to play for a couple of years. Well, he finally decided that he was going to make his way back, and he came back in like, I don't know, maybe 2017, 2016, and he's playing, and he's like a shell of his former self. He's like nowhere near as good as he used to be. Everybody pretty much thinks he's over, pretty much thinks he's done, but everybody still kind of likes him or whatever, right? Because he's Tiger Woods, and he's probably one of the greatest golfers of all time, and just a joy to watch for a lot of people who are into that sport. Also, mind you, I'm not into golf at all. I barely know anybody outside of Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, but all my buddies are kind of really into it, so I just kind of catch wind of it from time to time, right? So anyway, so what's happening, right? So I guess to kind of rewind it, like, why did I even make this prediction? Because I made this prediction about February of this year, so February 2019. It's April. It just happened over the weekend, and it was literally like everybody's like jaw dropped because they didn't really expect it or whatever, right? Well, I guess what happened was when I was first getting into this whole concept of like, we are the creators, quote, quote, and we like create our own reality and stuff. I got into, let's just say, I kind of started on the dark side of the equation where like the powers that be, I always kind of wondered why the powers that be, like, if they want to control everybody and just enslave us, it seems really easy. They could just, they have all the power, they have all the weapons, they have all the technology, just do it or whatever, right? And I was kind of wondering like why they never just like pulled the trigger per se. And then I kind of got into it a little bit more, and I learned the concept of like free will and how like the more we voluntarily slowly give away our rights and our freedoms, and we like choose to be slaves, the more lasting that contract becomes with like humanity or whatever, right? So they're slowly but surely kind of ticking away or whatever, right? And I was like, at the same time though, I also was like, well, why are they afraid of us, like the masses? Like, why is there this just kind of like, they never want the masses to know anything. They don't want them to upvolt or anything like that, or there's some weird thing where they're trying to keep us in the dark. And I kind of figured it out, and what it is that because we are powerful creators, if we all wake up and we all learn what's going on or whatever, we actually are really powerful, and we have the ability to overthrow the powers that be on that alone, just on the fact that we're all aware of the injustices that are occurring, what they're doing, and it's scary for them to, or I guess it's just, if we step into our full power, we're pretty much unstoppable, right? So I was like, that's kind of interesting, right? Because it's like, we totally have we choose pretty much everything on like a mass consciousness scale of what's going on or whatever, right? So the powers that be, their number one weapon is just misinfo and disinfo and things like that, right? So again, there's this whole concept of just like, we are the creators, we create our own reality, right? On like our local scale, so like me, the person, and like on the mass scale, us, the human population, and you could even argue beyond that, right? So I'm like, okay, so that's kind of like a thing, right? And then I got into cryptocurrencies in about 2017, and something that's extremely unique, I think, to that market space is that there's a lot of like psychics and stuff that go online and they make predictions about coins or whatever, right? And so it's really entertaining and it's super woo-woo, and I would follow it online and get into it, and like I found it odd that some of these psychics or whatever, they had like pretty good success. Like they were spot on, and sure, maybe it's a cosmic coincidence, but there's when some people are getting it totally right and some people are getting it totally wrong, it kind of gives credence to the fact that there might be an ability to be right about something or whatever, right? And so I was like, well, what is it? What are they tuning into? What are they tapping into or whatever, right? And I started to kind of want to like get into that myself and just kind of read more information on it. So I started reading all these books about like shamans and healers and all this other kind of stuff. And like there's a kind of a consistent theme throughout history that there are these kind of people that can kind of tap in to whatever you want to call it, and they can kind of get insights and intuitions about things that are going to happen or whatever, right? So I was convinced that it's possible, right? And like even in the Bible, they talk about prophecies and stuff. I mean, I believe those are real. And so I'm just like, I'm pretty sure this is possible. I just kind of have to figure out a way to do it or whatever, right? So one thing that happened in 2016 for me is I kind of came across, his name is Kim Clement and Mark Taylor, and they kind of have this thing that's called like the Trump prophecy, and it's like super interesting if you go read it or whatever, because Kim Clement talked about Trump being president in like 2007, I want to say, something like that, and then Mark Taylor did in 2011, and they have a list of all these things that are basically going to happen, quote, quote, and I kind of read them and I keep up with them and I follow them kind of daily. It's a list of about 15 things or so, and I'm like, geez Louise, like as I pay attention to this stuff, it's unfolding. Like I see the, you know, pieces on the chessboard are in alignment for things to occur. So have they all occurred yet? No, but like I'm definitely paying attention and kind of watching it or whatever, right? And just kind of seeing how it is. So it just gave me more credence to the idea like there's something to it. It's real. It can be done or whatever, right? So I was like, all right. So if it can be done, it's kind of real. You know, what can I do to get into it? So back to the whole fact that we all kind of co-create our reality on like a mass conscious level is I kind of was looking for like energetic marks where there was a lot of enthusiasm or interest or just attention towards the subject or whatever, right? And so one thing that I've noticed with our president Trump is like whether you believe he's anointed or not, he tends to there's this kind of thing where like whenever they call it the Trump curse or the Trump blessing. So whenever he curses his enemies or whatever, they tend to falter or fall, and it's almost amazing. I mean, even the Winter Olympics where all the athletes were trashing him and then all those athletes totally got destroyed or whatever, right? And then there's like the Trump blessing where it's like if he's like kind of pro somebody, like they tend to do well or whatever. So I've been monitoring that, and so it started in 2018. Tiger Woods was going, I think Trump made a tweet about Tiger Woods or whatever, right? Yeah, a tweet, right? And I was like, you know what? This is interesting because like over the summer when he was playing, my buddies who were into golf were super all about him. And then I get this tweet and I'm like, there's all this just like positive energy getting flown into this guy or this idea that, you know, we want Tiger to do well. So in 2018, I kind of made a prediction with my friends, and I kind of joke. I said, I'm Joe Stradamus, kind of like Nostradamus or whatever, right? And I was just like, Joe Stradamus says, and he's like, Tiger Woods is going to win one of these tournaments in the year 2018 or whatever. Now, mind you, it was about like September of 2018, so it was kind of coming towards an end or whatever. And it was like a month later he won. So I kind of brought it back out to my friends. I was like, see, look, I told y'all or whatever. And they were all like, yeah, lucky guess or whatever. And, you know, obviously I'm not even 100% convinced that what I did was working. I'm just trying to feel it out and get like a feel for it. You know, like I want to learn how to do this technique or whatever, right? So I was like, okay, like that's cool, whatever, right? And then in 2019, so not even that long ago, I think it was like March or February, Trump goes golfing with Tiger and he makes a tweet about, he's like, yeah, I went golfing with Tiger today. He played great. He'll be winning majors again in no time, right? And so basically what a major is, for those who don't know, there's like 4 big golf tournaments a year. And this one that just happened is the first one of the year, and it's called the Masters, which I think is arguably the biggest one of all the 4 or whatever, right? And so I got wind of that, and I'll also say that when he won that tournament the year before, there was like this famous scene that you can go check it out on YouTube where like as he was walking down the 18th hole, I mean, there were just crowds and crowds and crowds of people following him. They were so excited that he was about to win his first tournament in like, I don't know, 10 years or whatever it was. And so there was this, again, there's all this energy behind this guy or whatever, right? And so I'm seeing it. In fact, I even went to church and they had like a video where they showed Tiger walking down the 18th hole and all the people following him, and they compared it to Jesus when like he fed the 5,000 and they were like kind of following him around. That's probably kind of what it looked like or whatever, right? So like and like to me, I was like, yeah, you know, that's probably a good point. It did kind of look like that or whatever, right? So I'm just checking all this stuff out, and I'm just like, man, like there's some energy here or whatever, right? So then Trump sends that tweet, and I'm just like, you know what, like like, I'm gonna go ahead and go on the record again. And I told my friends, I was like, Joe Stradamus says, you know, Tiger's gonna win a Masters in 2019, or a major in 2019 or whatever, right? And they're all like, oh my, they're like, bold move, Cotton, like, blah blah, just making jokes. And I don't even blame them. Like, it's kind of a crazy bold prediction or whatever, especially me, because I don't even follow golf, so it sounds even more stupid when I say it. But I was like, no, like, I think it's gonna happen or whatever, right? Well, Lord and behold, the very first one of the year, which is maybe only I think I said it in February, so it's only been 2 months. So 2 months later, you know, boom, what happened over the weekend? Tiger wins this thing. And I'm kind of bringing it all back, and my buddies are kind of like, well, I'll be damned, you know what I mean? But they still, you know, lucky guess, cosmic coincidence, probably, sure, or whatever, right? But what I'm trying to convey here is that I really do believe that there is this energy you can tap into that kind of gives you an idea of like what will happen. And I think the other variable to this whole equation is, as I follow these like psychics and prophecies and clairvoyance and all this other kind of stuff, you know, a lot of them are wrong too. So there's like this interesting like right and wrong kind of mix where like nobody's 100% accurate. So like most people continuously discount a psychic or whatever if they're wrong about something, right? And like they're like, well, if they're not 100% right, they're phony, they're wrong or whatever, right? And I kind of thought that too, and I was trying to figure out like why that is, and I kind of came to this interesting realization that like everybody's co-creating simultaneously, so it's extremely dynamic, you know what I mean? So just because something seems likely today, in 10 minutes a bazillion variables could change, and it throws the whole like thing out of whack or whatever, right? So what you can do is there's kind of stronger poles and lesser poles, I guess, that you can kind of like tap into or feel out or whatever. And if you're able to do that, then you know, you might be onto something. You might have an ability to be more successful than not or whatever, right? So, you know, it's just like this super interesting, like for me, it's really just, I'm just kind of playing around with the concept of like seeing if I can do this kind of stuff in a meaningful way, and just kind of for me, it's really more I just kind of feel something out or whatever, right? Is there just like this pull in one direction or the other? And you know, of course, I like to kind of test myself a little bit, so I put it on, you know, with my group of friends. I basically set a message, put it on the record or whatever, right? So I can hold myself accountable to it or whatever. And I gotta get some witnesses too or whatever, because I could be 100% right about all my predictions. If I've ever told anybody, then who cares, right? So anyway, so I thought it was cool. I thought it was like a fun experiment. Obviously, it's still unfolding, and I'm still learning some things. I'll say be careful if you go down this path, because I think a lot of it, people who really want to like be clairvoyant or psychic, they pretty much can open themselves up to like demonic influence and stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and advocate that you just go woo-woo and go crazy and do whatever. You know, being grounded, being in Christ, praying and all that kind of seeking guidance, I think will definitely get you kind of down that path or whatever. But I think we all as humanity have this ability to kind of predict and create the future. And in fact, I even know it to be true because there's this blockchain project called Augur, and the whole concept of Augur, it's basically a future prediction mechanism where they basically put predictions of events that are going to come on the blockchain or whatever, right? So it's actually interesting because it can actually create a lot of good, but it can actually be totally manipulated and create a lot of bad as well, right? So like they're trying to, like, if you follow some more of the quote conspiracy theory stuff and Google and these algorithms and the AI and stuff, where like one of the objectives is that they implant thoughts into the masses, and then when they do that, basically they can kind of control the future or whatever. Then you kind of understand why they're doing it, why they're building these systems, and why they're targeting all these humans, and why they're trying to send stuff into their brains, and why they're trying to create 5G networks that can mimic that thought patterns in the brain to literally make like your right arm move as if your body sent a signal to your right arm to move. You know, it's crazy stuff or whatever, right? So yeah, I mean, what I'm getting at is like this whole co-creation thing is pretty real or whatever, right? So anyway, just to wind it all back or whatever, like I said, this is just one particular instance, and I found it quite fascinating, and I have 2 test cases now where it's kind of worked or whatever. So just like all, you know, scientific method oriented thought processes, you know, I'll continue to observe and I'll try to reproduce it when I can. And you know, if I get a good one here, I'll probably put it on the channel so we can all kind of track it together and see how it pans out or whatever, and it'll be kind of fun. So So yeah, so anyway, that's kind of the video today. Like I said, probably one of the more weird ones that I'll ever post on this channel, but you know, that's okay. We're about everything here on Malkuth, and we're always just trying to, you know, seek truth anyway. So that's all I got. So yeah, you guys have a good day, and I'll talk later.